one more example. We're going to use our graphing calculator again. You guys can go ahead and punch that in your graphing calculator, put me on pause, whatever it takes for you to get that done. I'm going to go ahead and sketch what the graphing calculator will look like. Please make sure that your graphing calculator looks as what my picture does. Otherwise, you're not using your graphing calculator properly, and you need help doing so. What does this look like? Well, it actually has an asymptote at 2. The other part of the graph comes like this over to the right-hand side. I'm not even concerned with this part of the graph because I'm only looking at this interval 0, 2. What we're going to go ahead and do, instead of just figuring out the extrema, is I'm going to show you how you can do this algebraically, and then we're going to use the picture as like a check. So we don't have to have our graphing calculator to be able to do the last two problems, or this problem and the last problem we did. It's just sometimes it's nice to do a check on your calculator. So if I do a derivative, I'm actually going to rewrite this first, so I'm not taking the derivative yet. 2, and then I have 2 minus x to the negative first. Now I'm going to take the derivative. This gives me negative 2. Rewrite the inside to the negative 2. So I lowered that by 1. But I need to take the derivative of what's on the inside, which is a negative 1. So my first derivative ends up being 2 over 2 minus x squared. On top is where the derivative would equal 0. Well, there's no cases for x where the derivative will equal 0. However, on the bottom, if I talk about the x value of 2, it does give me the first derivative at 2 being does not exist. Now I can actually see that in my picture because there's an asymptote there. Of course the derivative does not exist because derivatives do not exist at asymptotes. So what do I have to check? Well, I have to check my endpoints, 0 and 2, as well as my critical number. Well, my critical number happens to be one of my supposedly endpoints. There is no endpoint at 2. We can see that in the picture. It is an asymptote. So when I go to plug in for my y values, and I plug in 0, I get 1 for my height here. And on this one, I get does not exist. There is no value because this is an asymptote. So this is neither a max or a min, but this one happens to be, this would be the absolute minimum. Now, only having the knowledge that we have right now, we haven't gotten further in this chapter, I would have to look at the picture to be able to figure out for sure if that was an absolute max or a min. Later, we'll be able to determine those things using some other skills that we're going to learn throughout this unit.